one adversity can actually lead to multiple new openings.
Right.
And that is the same thing that happened. In fact, not only for Swiggy, I mean, a lot of new companies came up. A lot of companies which were fledging has come up during COVID. Kind of identifying different. And now today the customers are hooked.
Sometimes what happens is you come across some companies in your life and you decide that you want to build the company along with your career while you are in a company. And if that company is a startup, you become more agile. You feel that you're part of building that ecosystem, building that space, building that culture, and you're part of building that entity. I have with me one such alumni of SDA Bocconi Asia Center today, Samrat here, who has believed in this model of building teams, building companies, building startups. Samrat, when you came in here at SDA Bocconi Asia Center, what was that time and how did you decide that you wanted to make a career in startups?
When I set out for this journey, I did not think that I'll be a man working in startups. It just happened. It's just destiny that it happened this way. And now that I see it, I did not make a wrong choice, because the kind of freedom that you have, the kind of autonomy that you have, the guarantee that you can fail fast and you can improve yourself. When I first started, I started in a company called Bschool, right? So I was a merchant navy guy, marine engineer, and I started over there. Every single policy, every single decision, it took literally months. I am just coming from a decision making brainstorming session yesterday, right? Where we took a pan-India decision for our company, Zepto. 6 hours I started in the morning and I finalized this by 4ish. So that is the agility, that is the speed that you get.
When you were in those ships, when you were traveling, what happens is, you see endless sea, you see your life in front of your eyes sometimes when you are in those trips. And when you think that, where am I headed in my life and what do I want to do in my life? Were there such moments in your life when you were there and you thought that, maybe this is not exactly what I wanted to do?
Well, my thought process was pretty clear. If I tell you, when I was doing my engineering first year in 2007, I remember a very specific episode. My senior asked, why did you join Merchant Navy? And I was like, I joined because I wanted to explore, but I'll leave within the next 3 years. I mean, I specifically remember that episode. And he was like, तो आया क्यों इधर जब छोड़ना ही था? I'll explore this for a few years. And then I always knew that I will go into ops. I'll do MBA. I'll build my career onshore. And it'll be more like a decision-making kind of a role. When you are at the initial stage of your career, especially in Merchant Navy, there's less decision-making, more execution.
And while you were looking for the Bschool, what were the kind of considerations you were having that my Bschool should have X or Y elements in it?
Definitely international exposure. Definitely. Number one on my mind, right? Because of the background I was coming from. I always wanted a good cultural immersion. And then of course the brand value, right? To be specific, when I saw Bocconi, right, the brand came in my mind. The kind of accomplishments that Bocconi has done in Milan. It was a no-brainer for me, to be very honest.
Let's talk about your Thailand experience that you were talking about. You were working with a fish company there?
It's a food processing company, mainly fish and all the sea, the shells, mussels and all those things. And I joined as a technical manager over there. And in fact, I got selected because of my experience on board, right? Because I had handled the cold storage system, the refrigeration system, the air conditioning system. Because on ships, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. You have to know everything for the ship to run perfectly, because you cannot call someone and they'll come and repair it in the middle of the sea, right? You have to do it yourself. That experience helped me secure the job over there, right? And over there my role was more to manage the entire ops, both outside, which consisted of the compressors and the freezing systems, and inside the facility, which was the freezers, chillers, packers, all those things. Very interesting immersion. And when I realized that if I can do it over there with Thai people, I can do it anywhere.
And was that the kind of jump that you took when you actually came back to India and joined Swiggy?
Oh yes, in India, especially startups, right? People hire you if you have experience in that field. Otherwise, you don't get hired. You don't even get shortlisted. That's the main thing, right? I got a lucky break where my profile got shortlisted for Swiggy, right? Over there, I was given the mandate to launch Vadodara in Gujarat as the city ops head. I'd like to say the person who took my interview, his name is Dheeraj, right? A very good friend of mine today. He still works at Swiggy as a general manager. He kind of did not judge me on the fact that you don't have experience in startups and you don't have experience in last mile ops. How will you do? But rather the interview process was very specific in terms of, if you come over here, will you be able to solve this problem? The interview process was like this.
You know, when you were building processes at Swiggy, it was the year around 2017-18, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So when Swiggy was also growing rapidly, you were also part of that growth, right? And you said that you were given responsibility to go to a place in Gujarat where you were building operations there. What exactly are the kind of things that you need to build for when you are actually doing a work like this? And what are the kind of challenges that you face in such a scenario?
See, as a leader, the first thing that you must do is know your people. Because your people do the work, you guide them, right? If you don't have your people with you, your reportees don't follow you, no matter how good a leader you are, you cannot do it. I always tell my subordinates that there are three ways to command people: forceful, leading by example, and the third is by respect. You might get work done in the short term if you are forceful, if you are fearful, but that will not help you in the long run, because all companies have a 360-degree feedback mechanism these days, right? The best part is you earn respect by leading by example. That is the way you should do it. So that is something I did when I started. Whenever you launch any city from scratch, lot of ad hoc things start coming up, and how you kind of adjust to those things, how you can quickly build processes and build scalable processes is the way you can adapt to it.
Swiggy as an organization has also seen a transformation, right? What Swiggy essentially started off as and what Swiggy is right now are two different entities. And you were there during these changes were taking place, right? Was it an operational nightmare when COVID hit?
COVID actually helped us increase our businesses by being more agile. Before 2020 March, when COVID started, we were just food delivery business at Swiggy. When the COVID hit, people stopped ordering out from outside. That actually gave us a chance because our riders, the delivery executives, are actually essential workers. So they were on the ground, we had to pay them, right? We cannot let them go. So we decided that, hey, why not be much more agile and quickly launch new services, right? So that is the time we launched. In fact, I was leading the launch of Genie. I'm sure a lot of people have used it. Intra-city deliveries and wherever you want, whatever you can send. So launch Genie that time.
How did you guys come up with the name?
Well, it was actually Swiggy Go before, and then the leadership thought that Go is not so appealing. It's like you have a wish and I'll make your wish come true. So that wish can be anything, right? Send your tiffin. And that time the major problem happened with food actually. So you thought, why not we there are a lot of relatives, why not we facilitate tiffin service in such a way, like a Genie, tiffin will come to you, right? That is how this name came, you know. Then Instamart also came. It was called as stores first, Swiggy stores. One adversity can actually lead to multiple new openings. And that is the same thing that happened. In fact, not only for Swiggy, I mean, a lot of new companies came up, a lot of companies which were fledging has come up during COVID, kind of identifying different, and now today the customers are hooked. At Zepto, I can see 200% month-on-month growth. Why? Because people like it. People are getting used to kind of 10-minute delivery kind of models, and everybody wants things quick. People forget. I'm not sure if you've seen some ads. It's like you're changing the diaper of your baby, and then suddenly you realize that, hey, no diaper, and you have to get a diaper. So just click 10 minutes, it'll come. I mean, by the time you go to get ready, go to the lift, go down, that process itself will take 15-20 minutes. Before that, it'll come.
First thing that we heard in terms of operations and deliveries was 30 minutes pizza delivery or free. And from there on, things just started to become, shorter and shorter and shorter in time. To a company where you are in right now, where you guys are promising 10 minutes deliveries. And we are talking about Zepto that you just talked about a while back. 10 minutes deliveries? How does that work?
That happens because we have built scalable processes, we have the right tech in place, and we have the right thought process in place, right? There are challenges. In fact, when I remember the day when I was taking this decision to switch, that time Zepto was not so big as it is today, right? And by the way, we are just talking of 3-4 months. In 3-4 months, it has become this big.
And how big exactly is Zepto right now?
So Zepto, recently, 2 days back, you must have read the news, we have raised $100 million, and that is within 45 days of raising the previous round of 60 million. We have raised a Series C, and today it is valued at $570 million. So we have more than doubled the valuation in just a span of 1.5 months, right? This is like unheard of, the speed. And this is happening because people are liking us. So just a couple of months back, we were there only in Bombay. Today we are present in 6 cities. By next month, we'll also be live in Kolkata.
Is there a flip side to it also?
Today, with all the tech-enabled companies, you can actually measure everything. Today, I know when my delivery boy is starting, when my delivery boy is reaching, when my delivery boy is actually at the doorstep. I have all these data sets available. It helps me kind of devise policies, understand the behavior, correct the behavior. Everything is tech-based. If I don't have all these things, well, I cannot control it.
And keeping this shift in mind that is happening in businesses, whether it's ops, whether it's marketing, tech is everywhere, right? What are the kind of skills or if I may say courses or qualities that you need to develop in yourself, right? So that you're ready for these changes and the challenges that are going to come in the future.
Actually, now that you say this, I mean, I kind of go back 5 years, and I remember my stint in Milan where I had a course with Professor Alberto Grando. He was our ops professor. There was another supply chain professor called Giuseppe Stabilini, right? Another course I had very, very important is called business analytics. So the kind of statistical models you build, how you can use your skills to kind of build model through Excel, right? Today, if you don't know Excel, you cannot do ops. By Excel, I mean advanced Excel, it's just not typing it in the spreadsheet. Today, if you want to succeed, make sure you know at least one language, a query language, SQL, maybe Python, if not something better. So there are so many things that you should learn. Come prepared into this, and you will be asked questions on this if you want to succeed. If you cannot do it, you will create a bottleneck for yourself.
Let's talk about the kind of work that you do right now. What exactly does your day look like? What are the kind of responsibilities you take up right now? Somewhere do you feel intimidated with so much responsibility at your shoulder?
Intimidated? No, not intimidated. I mean, when I joined this role, I kind of knew what I was getting into, inventing new things, ensuring that there are right processes. You need to tie up with a lot of vendors and places. So my role per se is kind of ensuring that this 10-minute delivery, right? I ensure that this happens in 10 minutes. The company is only valued highly when it kind of is towards the profitability path, going towards the profitability path. You can spend, you can build companies that will not last long. There are so many examples, food pandas of the world, right? Uber Eats. They came, they tried, they went. That's because they spent so much they couldn't control later. They couldn't get it down. So when I joined over here, I remember the first thing that I did was rationalize. The spends were out of control. Kind of put a stop to it in terms of what we are paying the delivery executive. I rationalized. That was the first thing I did.
And how much of these learnings you think came your way while you were at this particular Bschool? You know, learning the nuances of business better, trying to understand how do you manage people, right? Or how do you actually rationalize?
If you are not humble, you can always fall down, right? You have to be humble whenever you are successful. Whenever you are not successful, those phases will come in your life, right? You might make a wrong decision. It might impact you. How quickly you understand that it's my mistake and I will not repeat. Be humble enough to accept that and move on. That is very important, right? In terms of other traits, so yes, a lot of things you learn on the job. Things like leadership, things like temperament, right? When you're handling a lot of people, a lot of processes, you're kind of really multitasking. Multitasking, I mean really multitasking, right? I kind of started learning how to do multitasking. I remember there was a time when we had an assignment and the deadline was at 11:30 and the file got deleted. It was very important. File got deleted 10:59, and it took 1 day to prepare it, and it got deleted just before sending it. So we had to, everybody had to kind of pitch in. It was like a pure startup, everybody pitching in at 11 o'clock. Delete ho gaya, just do it now. Whatever you did, again repeat it in the next 30 minutes. You do it. Don't make a knee-jerk reaction because it's your life you're talking about, right? When you choose your college, choose it in a way that fits your passion. If you do not know, if you are in India always, right, you don't know how the world behaves. You need to kind of get a sense of that, get a feel of that, right? When I kind of went to Milan during my exchange semester over here, that was the time I met so many people. I met Chinese students, I met, of course, Italian students, Spanish students, people from Colombia, Brazil, right? It was a truly international immersion, and kind of understood that, hey, how sorted their thought processes right from such a young age. They have gone to that school, to SDA Bocconi, right, and they have reached there to some caliber that they have, right. Today, if you are looking to do an MBA, you should look at international exposure.
Thank you very much, Samrat, for sharing these insights with us, for reflecting on your life and telling us about the story that you have had, and all the very best for creating processes and making ripples with Zepto that you guys are already doing. On this note, if you are interested in knowing the institute that Samrat was part of, there is a link in the description. You can go click that and check that as well, and tell us in the comments below how you liked this story and what you would like us to cover in the next episodes. Thank you very much.